Tomorrow, it's simple. We need to show that we are title challengers for this season, because at this point in time, we are currently 5 points off the top of the table. Now, yeah, of course, Man City do have a game in hand, but failure to beat Everton tomorrow night, that point gap will widen and widen and widen. And after seeing Man City absolutely destroy Leeds United 7-0 last night, and comparing it to our very own performance against Leeds United, which required 2 penalties to be awarded for us, with 1 penalty coming in the final moments of extra time. For me, the reality is our firepower can't compete against Liverpool or Man City's. If we have any hopes of winning the Premier League title, we're going to have to rely upon that teamwork, that intensity, discipline, resistance and bravery if we have any hopes of lifting the Premier League title. Now, yeah, I can be cynical. We've spent over 300 million signing brand new attacking players, but the reality is the system just won't really allow for that type of same goal output in which you see Man City and Liverpool regularly scoring from. This is why Everton, for me, is such a key game to pick up 3 points, because we are playing Everton at the perfect time. Right now, Rafa Benitez, his job is under fire. The reality could be that if he loses against us tomorrow, he may be sacked. And I understand completely why. This season, it feels like Benitez, from a tactical perspective, is running out of ideas, very counterproductive to the Everton cause, a very negative style that they play as bowl too, which relies upon quick counterattacks. However, a lot of their counterattacks do come in isolation. For me, this comes down to players not being used correctly, players being used out of position at times, and introducing a style that doesn't necessarily suit how Everton have played over these past few seasons. Their early season form has deserted them, and yes, injuries have come at the wrong times for them. However, in these past 10 games, the past 10, they've picked up 7 defeats. They've drawn twice, and they've only won once, which came in a surprise win against Arsenal just a few weeks back. Their latest defeat came last night, courtesy of, the new Frank Lampard and Conor Gallagher, who absolutely stole the show, scoring 2 brilliant goals, with the final goal being absolutely beautiful. So for me, we must take advantage of the negativity currently surrounding Everton. Normally during times like this, players aren't really backing the manager properly because they can't even play their best football because the system is working counterproductive against that. We have to take advantage of an Everton team that's in disarray at this point in time, and we have to make sure that we continue to compete for this league title. In today's preview, guys, I'm going to break down Tuchel's press conference. I'm going to go through the predicted lineup, and to end things, I'm going to give my final match prediction for the game as well. So I hope you guys definitely do enjoy. Before we get into things, let me get one quick plug out of the way first. If you're one of those last minute Christmas shoppers, the Club Mega Store has you covered right now. Today there's a great offer, 35% off all the club's UCL winning range. It could be a great time, of course, to just buy something to relive the memory, to always have a token of what was an incredible day. And if you use code CFCWin35, you can get 35% off all orders for those products. So you guys, description below, I got you covered. And without wasting any more time, now we start with the press conference, and I'm going to pick the most interesting points from the press conference, because otherwise this video is going to be at least double or triple the length of time. So we start with team news, and at this point in time, the good news is that N'Golo Kante will be on the bench in tomorrow's game. Is Tuchel going to potentially risk it, maybe to use him in the final 10-15 minutes? Who knows? He has done that for Lukaku. However, it's great to know that N'Golo will be fully back fit in the team very soon. On top of that, we know that Jadaba as well will be part of the squad tomorrow, which is great news because he has been in spectacular form for us this season, and I'm looking forward to seeing him playing again. Now, when it comes to the existing injury news surrounding Kovacic and Ben Chilwell, we know that there's some inconsistent reports. Some are saying that he should be back mid-January. However, some reports are suggesting that he may even need some surgery, which could potentially complicate things even more. Moving on to Kova, the good news is that he will be out of quarantine, I think tomorrow, is what Tuchel said. However, Tuchel did mention that Kova is still 7 to 8 weeks out before he returns back to the team. So you know, it's going to put some stress on the team. However, having N'Golo fully back fit, having a Loftus-Cheek that's showing that he can defend as well too, and a Jorginho that's getting back to his fitness, I feel like we have the players there to cope until Cover does return back. Now, attention turned towards Conor Gallagher, one of the most informed players in the Premier League this season. Goal output has been absolutely ridiculous. 6 goals scored already in the league. Yeah, gonna have some interesting discussions on him coming up very soon for you guys. But of course, it was Tuchel's turn to address Conor Gallagher, and he was asked whether he regretted letting Gallagher leave. Tuchel said that, you know, the contract details won't be discussed, of course. He reiterated that Conor Gallagher is a player that he likes a lot. I confirmed this with you guys before during the start of July as well too. Yeah, there was a chance that Gallagher could have even stayed. However, it was agreed for both the player and the manager that you'd benefit having a loan away. Moving on though, Tuchel did say that he has no regrets letting Gallagher leave. And as he very logically answered, you can't take circumstances now and then apply them to pre-July. It just doesn't make any sense. For me, it's pretty stupid as well too. I mean, let's say that we had no injuries to any midfield players at all. Would Gallagher be getting in the team? And when we have that Premier League exposure, playing in a system which is getting the best out of his game, in which he is displaying and showing that he can play at a much higher level? Absolutely not. And for me, it makes so much sense to benefit from Gallagher in the future, knowing that he comes back a more confident, better and complete player. So now you guys move on to the third question, and Tuchel was asked about vaccination status when it comes to that being issued to new signings, which I thought was a pretty cheeky question. You know, Tuchel said that at this time he completely has full faith and trust in the squads. The club aren't talking about bringing in players during January, so that means that discussions have not gone further when it comes to talking about vaccination status. You know what? I don't think we're doing any business at all. However, if players force moves out in January, I'm looking at players like Pulisic, Ziyech, even Werner and some others as well, that could force our hands back into the market. So who knows at this point in time, but it's not like Tuchel's going to confirm anything at all and give any advantage to any of his rivals. So now we end with the final question. Talks turn towards Man City, and Tuchel said that not long ago City had to turn their form around to of course compete and get back to the top. He said that the squad knew very well going into this season that they would be facing adversity. You know, when you're looking to win a league title, adversity comes every single week, every single month. So no one is surprised whatsoever. Tuchel did mention though that luck has worked for us and against us, mentioning that we were quite unlucky against West Ham. You know, we can't forget that fluky Masuaku winner. However, luck did come into our favour when it came to getting the 3 points against Leeds just last week. As Tuchel said, you know, he's not going to say sorry for victories when the win is the most important thing, which I fully agree with. So you guys, that's the press conference out of the way. We now move on to the predicted lineup. It's nice to know that we have players slowly returning back to the team. You know, having N'Golo Kante during a time like this is crucial, especially when we play against Liverpool in what could be a massive decider come the start of January. So it's great that he's coming back. And it's the same thing for Chalobah as well too. For me though, it's going to be quite hard to fully predict the lineup. But for me, in my personal opinion, because we need to get the 3 points to just keep up that momentum, I need to see a fairly strong team. So in this lineup, you're not going to see me using Hudson-Odoi, Pulisic there, because these guys are not wing backs whatsoever. They're not going to start this game. And of course, without wasting any more time, this is my predicted lineup. Up front, I've gone for Lukaku. Alongside him, I've gone for Havertz and Mason Mount. Wing backs, Alonso, Reece James. Midfield with Jorginho and Loftus-Cheek. And in defence, Rudiger, Silva, Christensen and Edouard Mendy. You know, I understand that rotation could possibly play a part in tomorrow's game, but as I've been stressing in this video, we can't afford to slip up at all, considering that Everton are there to be taken advantage of. You know, we can sniff that blood, we can go for the win against them, that the worst possible form in how many years too. To not get 3 points tomorrow will be absolutely devastating, considering that we can make subs in the second half to, of course, you know, give more rotational minutes to other players and of course keep other players fit and fresh as well. For this lineup though, I want to see more of Mount, Havertz and Lukaku. I personally think Havertz-Lukaku is the partnership that I haven't seen enough of just yet. But in theory, in my head, I'm thinking, okay, we can't have Lukaku just being so stationary, acting as a platform in central positions. It just limits his game entirely. However, if he was to drift wide, you need to have a player that vacates that space in behind. And for me, this is where Havertz could be that ghost that I'm always talking about. One of his best traits is his runs in behind as well too. And that's something that he doesn't get to demonstrate as much. I think those guys for sure. And of course, Mason Mount, one of our most informed players to, you know, the most goal scorer for us as well. He's one of the only guys to really, in my personal opinion, you know, really just takes it ease in this current new attacking setup in which we play under Thomas Tuchel, and he is that glue for that front three. His ability to jump into midfield is going to be key as well at times too, and of course the quality he brings in tight spaces and the creativity, that is going to be crucial as well for this team. In midfield, of course, Jorginho and Ruben. I mean, there's no other solutions. Not going to see Saul, hasn't been good enough. Don't think he is going to get good enough personally. And I just think that Jorginho and Loftus-Cheek, now that George will be a bit more fitter, that should be interesting to see. I do think some of the criticism that Ruben has been getting has been unfair in the sense that other parts of his game, you know, the defensive work rate, the tackles, the headers, the positional quality of the ball as well too, has been on show, has been evident, and hasn't been spoken about enough at times. I do think that because we have used so many different players in the team, you know, you look at the pass maps afterwards as well, you guys, it's not the football that we have seen before December came. I think with a strong lineup like this, it's about building that momentum again and going back to those basics in that sense. So I'm expecting a lot more from them. Again, if you're using a wing-back system, you have to use actual wing-backs. So Reece James and Marcus Alonso are instantly back in that team. And I guarantee that when you have such a strong platform up front, the defenders won't be out of position anymore. And I think that we can go without conceding a goal against Everton. So you guys, that is my predicted lineup. Give your thoughts below in the comment section. What would yours be? And now it's the end of the final part. Now for my prediction, I'm going for a 3-0 win. Now, yes, I know it sounds very ambitious, but considering we have been scoring quite a few goals, even though we have been conceding, I just think that with Everton's poor form, we can take advantage of their lack of confidence. You know, Benitez isn't very popular in Everton at this point in time. And, you know, when managers are being talked about getting sacked, normally that implies that they've kind of lost the dressing room in that sense, because players are lacking motivation in the system because the system isn't getting the best out of their strengths and their qualities. And I think once you give up on that, you're basically giving up on the manager. And I think that's why Everton are conceding so many goals in these past 10 games. Not getting just one win out of 10 is absolutely awful. So we need to make that another defeat for them. I'm sure Everton fans will be happy if we beat them, knowing that Benitez will be out the door. So I think this is a win-win for all of us, to be honest. So you guys, 3-0. Strikers on the sheet, Lukaku to score as well. And on that note, I'm Nini FC, this is Blue Lions TV. I'll catch you guys later with some more videos. Cool.